It is winter in Moscow, and this is an indoor space-themed bowling alley video game center for adults. And I am inside a Moscow shopping mall, and at the start of this video, I'm on an escalator that doesn't work. So I get to hold the camera steady and walk downstairs that my brain thinks should be moving. Down here, this next level is a kids' video game play area. And now you're starting to wonder, what is he doing? I wanted to ask a question today in this video, and that question would be, what if you lived in Moscow? And what if it was winter time and you couldn't go outside because it was freezing cold? So this is where Muscovites spend their time on a Saturday off, let's say, some Muscovites. And I want you to think, how does this shopping mall compare to your mall in your city where you live? And also look at how this mall is doing, because as you know, you hear in the news about sanctions, Western sanctions on Russia. We want to take a look and see how sanctions are affecting things. But this mall, to me, has like a space theme. It's kind of cavernous, a lot of open spaces. And we'll just walk through the whole thing and take a look around. And you can see how life is for me. I picked this mall randomly. What I mean by that is this is the mall that is closest to my house. So you get to see what a Russian mall looks like. There's about a mall on every block practically in Moscow, and I would say there are varying degrees of quality. This one is on the upper end, in my opinion. It's not as nice as the mall in the previous video that Sveta and I were in. Does Russia have Christmas? But I would say it's definitely nicer than the mall from my small town in Florida. And on this level, we're slowly working our way down. This is the eatery, and I'm glad they're already here because, as I've said before, everyone watching this video is a human, and humans have to eat and like to eat. So if you're a Russian, if you're a Muscovite, you're living here, you might decide to go to the eatery. You might decide to sit down next to your friend and eat some fast food. You might decide to go shopping at the hobby store. So like most malls in America, the eatery is usually on the upper level, so you have to pass through all the other stores to get to it. There have been some changes in the past few months because of sanctions. That is a sushi place, and there's a small coffee shop. Here is Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut is still here. This is KFC. Most KFCs are still here, but this KFC is not here anymore. I'm passing by a Burger King right now. Burger King says they can't close in Russia for some contractual obligations. That is Kroshka Kartoshka, popular fast food restaurant in Russia. It's a potato bar. So like Subway, you could say, where you make your own sandwich in front of you, but they're making the potato in front of you. This is Myasa and Riba, which I think is kind of interesting because basically it says fish, meat and fish. And you can take your photo with their meat and fish characters. What I think is interesting about it is it would be funny if you had a restaurant, I think, in America called just Meat and Fish. But in Russia, I guess that's completely normal. Here's more of the eatery behind us. And that is Teramuk. That is a Russian restaurant, fast food restaurant, very popular. I would dare say it is Moscow's McDonald's, but Russian style. Maybe I'm wrong. If I am wrong, I'll hear about it in the comments section by the Russians. But now we're out of the eatery, and they have this half of the floor is shopping, and you can see there are a fair amount of unused spots. We had some Western brands that left when the sanctions happened. We have some Western brands that did not leave when the sanctions happened. The mall, in my opinion, is still pretty busy. And like every place in Russia, they've got security everywhere. I wonder if they'll stop me. I don't know if they want me to record in here or not. Here is Hamley's. That is a British toy store, so they're still here. You got a haircut place there for kids. They can sit in cars and get their hair cut. And they have vehicles that you can rent for kids to play. There is a giant brass ball in the center of the mall. You can see the top of it behind me. It goes through many floors. And that is it for this floor. Oh, except I missed. I can't go back because I don't want this video to be too long. There is Russian McDonald's, which is called simply Tasty in Russian. And I went there with my wife and my two youngest kids, and it is like McDonald's. Would a 48-year-old man like McDonald's? No. But I did like it when I was a kid, and if you're a younger person, you'd appreciate it, for sure. So we have like underwear type shops like you would see in America. This is more of the brass globe on the next level here. And then we have a lot of empty shops. I would guess this mall is maybe 20% empty shops, unrented space. And I dabble in real estate, so I understand that's hard when you have unrented space. Take a look at this out the window. I don't know if you can see, there's snow and some buildings behind me. And we're about to go across a catwalk here. And we'll see if I run out of things to say or not. So there's a big ledge here, big drop off. That's the entrance to the mall. You can see me walking in and out of those doors with my kids and with my wife. And you see the Christmas lights flashing, or rather the New Year's lights, depending upon where you fall in the argument. And over here we're going to do the catwalk. But what do you think? If you live in America, if you live in Britain, if you live in Germany, how does this mall compare to your shopping mall or malls in the West? How is it holding up economy-wise? Here is Uniqlo. They are closed. And on the next level is Starbucks. And Starbucks is also gone. The Starbucks company, I guess Starbucks sold all of their Russian locations to a Russian businessman, and it reopened as Stars Coffee. And over here it's getting pretty empty. There's still plenty of people in the mall as a whole, and you can hear English Christmas music. Oh, this is really cool over here. I like this. So that green says Zoo Park in Russian, and Zoo Park means zoo. And that is actually a zoo in the mall. How about that, huh? I've never, ever seen that before, but I think I would assume, since it's such a cold place and it's hard to be outside 6 months out of the year, you have a lot of indoor things in Russia that you would never have in other parts of the world, warmer parts of the world. There's a surf shop over there. I mean, it says board riders. I think that's just to be cute. I'm not sure if they sell surfboards, but it's probably clothes that have a beach theme, because the beach is probably more exotic for a place like this. But one subscriber mentioned that malls are dying out in America, and I would agree with that. They're not as popular as they used to be, probably because of the internet. And also, I think, again, if you're in a warmer weather place, there's snow, you have a lot of outdoor options that you don't have in Russia. So in Russia, you can't be outdoors that much because it's flipping cold, man. Really cold. So I thought for a while to do this mall video where I walk through the mall, but I saved it for once it got really cold because I'll need some indoor ideas for videos. Not that I don't have plenty of video ideas. So this looks like a giant glass battleship or cruise ship. Let's say cruise ship, that sounds more friendly. In the middle of the mall, like floating in the middle of the mall. And you have to walk across catwalks to get into it. And it is Chocolatnitsa, which is like, it's unfair to call it Starbucks because it's nicer than that. I mean, it's a much nicer restaurant, but it is kind of like Russia's nice version of Starbucks, you could say. But they do have table service and they do have porcelain plates and glass, so it probably is unfair to call it Starbucks. There's a nice fountain here underneath the floating cruise ship with some fake lit flowers in the fountain, and people like to sit there. I actually sat there with my wife for a few minutes to have a nice little romantic time. But the trick is the fountain has like jets that turn on every couple of minutes, and it's quite noisy. But anyway, they've got the support pillars that they've lit up with Christmas lights or New Year's lights. And we're almost done. We've only got one level left. But the trick to this is I keep switching my camera from one hand to the other because my muscles can only hold the camera steady for about 90 seconds. So I gotta take turns. The other trick I'll tell you is when I'm filming this stuff, I cannot look at the image of myself in front of me because if I do, to you guys, I'll look cross-eyed. I've got to look off to the side, and then it looks like I'm looking right at you. Anyway, so we're coming up on another catwalk, but more clothes stores. So this shopping mall is really important to my family because we wake up in our flat. In our flat, we're warm and we're safe and we can cook food, but we have to walk to this mall whenever we need food. And what I've noticed about Russian malls is I think it's fair to say they always have a grocery store in their mall. Because again, you've got to be indoors as much as possible. And so you can come here and your kids can get their hair cut, your wife can buy some fancy clothes, you can buy grocery shopping for all the food that you need for your kitchen, for all the food you need for the kitchen, for all the people you need to eat the food in your kitchen. So this is nice right here, I like this. So this is the front of the mall. So it's got a giant glass entrance, and here is the Christmas tree, or rather the New Year's tree, as some Russians would argue, on the floor down below. And if you've watched a lot of my videos, you recognize that area out there. And I'm going on a nice little catwalk here. And here is the Stars Coffee. And the bottom of the brass globe. And I'm going to go down the escalator, and that'll be the end of the video. If I do go outside at the end, please don't harass me with comments. Josiah has my coat and hat back in the food court, and I'll run back to him quickly and put it on before spending any more than 20 seconds outside to finish the video. But here's the Christmas tree on the lower level, and I want to show you their grocery store, which is called a Shan. is right here, and that is like their version of Walmart. And I'm impressed. I might actually get out of this mall without security stopping me. But yeah, my wife and I definitely want to do a video about Auchan, which is the French grocery store / all-purpose store in Russia, which is their version, like I said, of Walmart. So that'd be fun to show you guys prices and show you what Russians buy and how it differs from what you buy. But if you've made it this far, it's about to come to an end. Just a few more meters and I'll be out. So there's Christmas decorations everywhere. There's the red star on that tree, just like I talked about in the previous video, that Russian culture for New Year's / Christmas time puts a red star on their tree. And this is a nice makeup shop my wife likes to shop at. And there is L'Occitane, spelled in Russian. So it's a famous European makeup brand. And I believe that sign was in English and they switched it to Russian a few months ago. And here's the little Christmas market I just walked through. And here is the way out. So I'm about to end this video. So I will freeze just for a few seconds, just for you. Because one of the things I wanted to try and do for the first time, I just had this challenge to myself. Could I make a video which is one cut and would not cut at all in the whole video? And I think maybe I've done it. I don't know. We'll see how many views we get, see if this is a video worth our time or not. But as you can see as I exit, definitely a festive place. I love the star exit, which is set up just for this month or two. And now we are out in the snow. So, what do you think? How do Moscow shopping malls compare to the malls in your city? What do you think of this fluffy snow that's falling down around me right now? Do you think I'm cold? Do you think I'll get sick? Click like, subscribe, leave a comment, click the box up here to see what happens next, and have a great day. I'm freezing!